When I was younger, video games were my personal escape. I would immerse myself in vibrant digital universes where each match or quest unfolded into an inspiring adventure. However, as I grew older, I noticed that my gaming sessions were slowly encroaching on the time I needed for other essential activities. Recognizing this imbalance, I made the conscious decision to gradually cut back on my gaming, eventually leading me to quit altogether. Recently, I came to appreciate the importance of carving out some downtime in my daily schedule. So, I decided to reintroduce video games into my life, giving them another chance. That decision sparked a vivid recollection of just how much fun gaming can be. It wasn't long before I found myself eagerly anticipating the end of the day, just so I could hop on the computer and dive back into that captivating digital world. But this also got me wondering, what exactly made those games so compelling? Could I possibly incorporate those game elements into other aspects of my life to make them equally desirable and engaging? As I delved deeper, I discovered something truly fascinating. Most video games are strategically designed so that throughout the play, our brain is constantly rewarded with bursts of dopamine. Many of you are likely familiar with dopamine, but for those who aren't, it is a neurotransmitter associated with desire and motivation. It is one of the key reasons why we find ourselves repeating pleasurable behaviors time and time again, driving that exciting and fulfilling rush. And that's why we have the motivation to pursue something. You could say that dopamine is like a carrot on a stick. Wherever that carrot moves, we find ourselves compelled to follow. Video games excel at constantly presenting that carrot right in front of you, making it nearly irresistible, especially in role-playing games, RPGs, where you not only level up your character but also immerse yourself in a vibrant and fantastical virtual world. These types of games are particularly addictive because they create what I like to call a dopamine trail. Essentially, the game is designed with a myriad of components that work together to keep you engaged and eager to explore more. These elements in games consistently trigger the release of dopamine over and over again, ensuring that we never succumb to boredom and are always eager to keep playing. At this point, I've identified 5 key elements that create this dopamine trail, which you can actually replicate in your own life. Just to clarify, I'll be using role-playing games, RPGs, as an example since they mirror our lives most closely. Bear in mind that not every game contains all the components I'm about to discuss, but they most likely include at least a few. So let's take a look at those elements. Let's see how you can take control of the carrot, harnessing its appeal, and transform your daily activities into something irresistibly compelling. The first key element is that you always have a clear objective to work towards, knowing precisely what you should be doing. Maybe you need to slay a formidable dragon or rescue a princess in distress. It doesn't matter. What's crucial is that you know the direction you must follow. In real life, however, many of us often lack a clear vision of what we're striving for. And while others might set a direction for us, it never compares to the empowerment of choosing our own path. Whether it's training for a marathon, attaining a specific position at work, or writing your own book, taking the reins and charting your course has a uniquely motivating and transformative impact. Having a clear goal to work towards gives your actions true meaning. Without it, your efforts might simply feel futile. While slaying a dragon may be the ultimate destination, the game doesn't force you to focus solely on that. Instead, it cleverly breaks down that grand objective into smaller specific tasks that gradually lead you to that climactic moment. Perhaps you begin by helping the king retrieve his stolen jewelry, then move on to assisting a wizard with his puzzling potion dilemma, among many other tasks. Every time you complete a task, no matter how trivial or simple it may seem, you're rewarded with a genuine sense of achievement, fueling you further on your journey. And the more we feel accomplished, the more we crave that sense of achievement. Essentially, this creates a loop. Even a tiny bit of success rewards us with dopamine and the motivation to push forward, which in turn paves the way for even more success. Sure, we might not have slain that formidable dragon yet, but we've still accomplished tasks that steer us in that direction. And that's what truly matters, because as long as we keep moving in that direction, eventually the big goal will become attainable. For example, if you want to write a book, your sub-goals might look something like this. Create a chapter outline, design a book cover, write 1,000 words, and edit 1 page. Of course, all of these tasks can be broken down even further into more specific steps, but I believe you get the general idea. The point is to kickstart the achievement loop by taking that initial action that propels you toward a greater objective. And goals are particularly important because they highlight the second key element that video games offer: visible progress. Games clearly demonstrate that you're improving by filling up an experience bar, making your progress unmistakable. However, you will never see a message saying, "You're only 0.7% on your way to level 100, as that would be incredibly demotivating. Instead, the game shows you that you're already 70% toward reaching level 2, offering a clear and inspiring snapshot of your progress. This vivid progress bar is exactly the kind of visible achievement that fuels your determination to keep grinding forward. It becomes all too easy to justify playing just a little longer, solely for the sake of reaching that next level before logging out. What's even more intriguing is that there are usually multiple progress bars being filled simultaneously. So by the time you reach level 3 in one skill, you're already nearly on your way to level 5 in another. And when you reach that level 5, you find yourself getting close to level 4 in another skill. This awareness highlights that you're constantly on the cusp of completing something significant, which in turn fuels your drive to keep playing. However, real-life progress is rarely as obvious as in a game. You need to make it visible yourself. I've found that one of the most effective ways to achieve this is simply by tracking your daily activities. Each day, be sure to note down every task that moves you closer toward your goals. If you wrote 500 words for your book, make sure to record it. If you ran 3 miles for your training today, be sure to write it down in detail. If you spent 1 hour studying, make sure to record that session as proof of your dedicated effort. And if you saved $10 by skipping Starbucks, don't forget to jot down that accomplishment. In doing so, you transform your progress, or the lack thereof, into tangible evidence, allowing you to clearly see how close you are to achieving your main goals or sub-goals. When you notice that you're nearing the completion of one of them, that realization will spark a surge of motivation, urging you to push forward until you reach that milestone. Recognizing your ongoing progress is not only reassuring, it's also the third key element essential for achieving success. In video games, your efforts are always recognized and rewarded. Often you're given a special prize when you reach a certain level or complete a significant quest. These rewards aren't just simple bonuses. They serve as powerful incentives that drive you to conquer challenges. Imagine this. Would you be willing to slay a mighty dragon if there was nothing in it for you? Probably not. Because there is a prize waiting for you, you feel a surge of inspiration to push through to the next quest. This visible progress keeps you motivated as you see yourself getting closer to your goals. Interestingly, rewards work the same way in real life. When you anticipate achieving something, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, triggering feelings of excitement and propelling you to keep moving forward. Deep in your mind, you know that once you finish a task, let's say studying for example, you get to enjoy a guilt-free reward of your choice. This truly energizes you to power through your next challenge. However, it's important to note that in video games, the reward always reciprocates your efforts in a very tangible way. When you defeat an enemy, you might earn a stronger sword, which means you now have the means to take on tougher foes. Essentially, the prize you receive not only elevates your gaming experience, but also ignites a burning passion within you, motivating you to keep pushing forward and conquer new challenges. And this is something that a lot of us get wrong. When you stick to healthy eating for a whole week and hit the gym 5 times during that period, you absolutely deserve a reward for your efforts. However, instead of rewarding yourself in a way that truly benefits you, we often end up doing something that undermines the progress we've made. You reward yourself by devouring the whole cake while just lounging on the couch. If you really think about it, that's hardly a smart move. Imagine completing a quest in a game, and instead of leveling up as expected, you get penalized, and your stats actually worsen. It doesn't happen. Yet, in real life, we often do exactly that. When you manage to save $500, what do? You reward yourself with a brand new phone, even though you don't really need it, or something along those lines. Instead, we should invest that money into an asset that will provide a return. This way, you'll be positioned to earn and save even more money in the future. Or, for another example, if you love running like I do, you could reward your consistency with a new pair of running shoes. That kind of reward not only makes your runs easier, but also reinforces your healthy habit. So take a good look at your own life situation and find a reward that truly pays you back. Or at the very least, make sure it doesn't sabotage the progress you've worked so hard to achieve. You might notice that in video games, rewards aren't always uniform. You don't always get a better sword. Sometimes you end up receiving sturdier armor, or even a brand new spell, among other surprises. And that brings me to the fourth key element in gaming: variety and novelty. Great games always have a fresh twist waiting around the corner to keep you engaged. It could be unlocking a new area, facing off against new enemies, or simply gaining some exciting new cosmetics to enhance your overall experience. Our brains love variety, and as long as an activity brings in something novel to stimulate us, it remains attractive and satisfying. Imagine if, instead of experiencing something new in the game, you had to repeat the same level over and over again. Most of us wouldn't find that fun at all. We would quickly become bored by doing the same thing repeatedly, and naturally we would want to quit. And it's the same in our daily lives. If we want to stick with something long-term, it helps if we can incorporate new elements into the activity to keep it exciting and engaging. Imagine the thrill of your very first day at a new job. Every step filled with promise and excitement. From the moment you walked in, the workplace was anything but mundane. There was a buzz in the air and everything around you sparked with curiosity. Every face was new. Every introduction a chance to learn something extraordinary. The endless stream of information and the energy of meeting unfamiliar people made the day incredibly engaging. However, fast forward 1 year and that vibrant sense of novelty began to fade away. What was once a dynamic environment brimming with fresh experiences slowly morphed into a routine that felt almost predictable. It began to resemble replaying the same level of a video game, one where you endure 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, facing identical challenges without any surprises. With nothing new on the horizon and every task echoing the last, the excitement dwindled, leaving you to wonder where the magic had gone. While I do encourage having some sort of routine in your life, because it provides structure and stability, it's equally important to introduce some variety that keeps things fresh. If you typically spend your days repeating the same tasks, consider exploring a different project or approach that breaks the mold. Engaging in something new, especially a challenge that isn't entirely within your comfort zone, can revitalize your daily experience with a sense of novelty. Now, even if you may not have direct control over every aspect of your work environment, there's always room to weave in new elements that complement your usual tasks. Think about the small changes you do have control over. It could be as simple as reaching out and befriending someone at the office, someone you normally wouldn't interact with. Maybe you could switch things up by reorganizing your desk to create a more inspiring work environment, or even choose a different restaurant to enjoy your lunch. As you can see, the change doesn't need to be monumental or permanent. The idea is to experience something new every now and then, to add a spark of freshness to your daily routine. You can even liven up your workout routine by trying a brand new exercise that challenges you in unexpected ways. And if you're still in school, consider exploring a different study location. Sometimes a change of scenery can recharge your mind and elevate your focus. Just look for a way to make your days slightly different. Discover a little twist in your everyday routine that brings excitement and breaks the monotony. Now, the fifth and final key element that games have is that they consistently challenge you. This element isn't just an add-on, it's the pulse that keeps the gameplay vibrant and addictive. The human brain loves working on and overcoming obstacles. Our mind thrives on the thrill of tackling hurdles and emerging victorious over them. But the difficulty has to match your current skill level. Otherwise, you won't enjoy them, nor will you want to do them. The challenge must be perfectly tailored, not too daunting to crush your spirit, yet not too simple to bore you. In other words, the challenge must be neither too hard nor too easy. This balance is crucial. It's what transforms a mere task into an engaging adventure. When you start at level 1, you don't go fighting the biggest and the baddest boss right away. Imagine trying to take on the ultimate adversary with no experience under your belt. It's a surefire way to face defeat over and over again, as the challenge would far exceed your current capabilities. And because the challenge would be too overwhelming, you simply wouldn't want to continue playing. This is why games intentionally start you off with easier challenges, ones that you can confidently overcome. As you progress and gain experience, the game gradually increases the difficulty to match your improved skills. After all, if your skills were to improve but the challenges stayed stagnant, the excitement would quickly fade away. There's no thrill in effortlessly demolishing every obstacle in your path. Instead, it would leave you feeling unchallenged and bored. The dynamic balance of escalating challenges is what keeps the experience engaging and motivates you to keep playing. The challenge has to feel at least semi-difficult, so that when you overcome it, you can truly feel a sense of pride and get that rewarding burst of sweet, sweet dopamine. Yet in real life, we seldom encounter perfectly balanced challenges. More often than not, we find ourselves either completely overwhelmed or utterly bored. If something appears overwhelmingly difficult and you just can't bring yourself to tackle it, chances are it exceeds your current skill level. In that case, take a step back and start slowly from the beginning. Rather than facing one giant task all at once, break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Then you should tackle those pieces individually, focusing on the easiest one first. By breaking down the challenge into smaller tasks, you lower the overall difficulty and kickstart your momentum. This strategy not only makes the task more manageable, but also creates a progressive flow that drives you forward. If you find that a certain task feels too easy, don't hesitate to raise the stakes. Ideally, you might want to skip the simpler tasks, but sometimes they must be completed. Personally, I like to spice up the easy tasks by imposing strict time limits on them. I set a specific time frame and challenge myself to finish the task before the clock runs out. This technique forces me to find more efficient ways of working, which not only helps me overcome the task faster but also enhances my overall productivity. Imagine that even in the future, while you continue doing the same routine activity, the looming pressure of time ramps up the difficulty, transforming it into something exciting and fun. It's all about matching the challenge to your current skill level. When the difficulty is perfectly balanced with what you can handle, you'll find yourself more engaged, and the experience becomes far more compelling. By now, you likely have a much deeper understanding of what makes video games so addictive. When these elements mesh together, they hook you like nothing else can. You might even notice that without those key elements, a game just doesn't pull you in as powerfully. Of course, there are additional factors that can make games irresistible, not just the 5 I've described. These extra layers add to the complexity and thrill, making every gaming experience even richer. One example is the social aspect that brings people together. It creates a sense of community while sparking friendly competition. Another element is the captivating background music that enhances the atmosphere, drawing you deeper into the experience. Alternatively, the game may offer you a genuine feeling of autonomy and control, making you feel as if you're shaping your own world. However, I chose not to delve into every single factor because I wanted to focus on the most dominant ones found in RPGs. After all, these games mirror our lives in the most relatable ways. It's also worth noting that video games integrate all these elements at a remarkably rapid pace, keeping the momentum and excitement flowing throughout the experience, making the release of dopamine very frequent. So frequent, in fact, that our daily activities cannot keep up with its pace. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to recreate that dopamine trail. In reality, it's even more crucial that you implement it consciously, because if you don't, you'll find yourself being irresistibly drawn toward whatever offers the most dopamine. So be sure to integrate those 5 key elements into the areas of your life that matter most to you. This approach will empower you to take control of your carrot, your motivation, and enable you to achieve whatever you set your mind to. If you made it this far into the video, let me just say that you're awesome. I would highly appreciate it if you could gently tap that like button below the video. This simple action tells the YouTube algorithm that ideas like these are worth spreading, which in turn helps my content reach even more people. That means more viewers can benefit from these insights and ultimately improve their lives. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope I made you better than yesterday.